let's go to the questions for this week. Now, and this is a question from Matt, and he's asking basically, how can I make writing emails easier? And does it need to have stories to make it interesting? Okay. No, not necessary. If you're not comfortable or you're not familiar with writing stories, I would not encourage you to do that. Over time, once you start sending email to your newsletters and you build more confidence and you're more comfortable with writing, you see, the thing with emails is it's not like writing a novel, or for that matter, it's not like writing a blog post article, right? The purpose of email to deliver the information to the readers and get them to act, take action on something, and that's for it. It doesn't have to be very complicated. Yes, you may have seen certain expert email marketers, they have, they blend in stories and all. So I will go into that. But generally today, I want to share with you 3 simple steps. The last one being the story format, but generally 3 simple steps that you can use to make writing your emails a lot more easy. It doesn't have to be complicated. Email shouldn't be taking over, or email marketing for that matter shouldn't be taking over your life, right? It is another channel of communication. It's a one-to-one channel of communication compared to, let's say, your social media post, but it's an important aspect for your business, okay? So let's try. So the first one, I would recommend for somebody who's starting out, for example, or either you're writing for your clients, you could do something like this, all right? You start off with, basically, you lead with either the benefits or pain or problems, right? So that's the top part of first paragraph, for example, of your email. Then you talk about how you can solve it, all right? And then finally, obviously, this is the call to action or the CTA button. And basically, you just tell them when or where, all right? So 3 things. The first simplest format of writing your emails. So for example, let's say I want to promote this particular live stream. So I will talk about, maybe not benefits, but maybe the pain. Are you stuck staring at a blank page, for example, whenever you want to write your emails and you have questions as to what you want to do, or your email's not landing in the inbox, and you're not sure what you need to do, right? So these are the pain points, or these are the common questions, for example, that your readers may ask when it comes to, let's say, email marketing, okay? So that's the first paragraph. And so I'm leading with the pain or either the problem. Then the second one, I talk about how you can solve it, right? So I would say my second paragraph would be, I go on live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. where I answer all your questions, all your pressing questions on anything related to email marketing. As simple as that. So that's the second paragraph. And finally, the CTA. So I can say, join me live on this platform. I can provide a link if I basically program it earlier. Or I can say if there's a call to action button, for example, I can get them to basically click here and register for this little webinar or either this little tutorial, okay? So that's the CTA button. So basically, this is one method of writing your emails, okay? So what's the second method? Okay, this is a method which I have learned and basically shared by a gentleman called Frank Kurt. And he's basically one of the OGs of internet marketing. He's been doing it since 1997 or something like that. So his email format in the most simplest form comes in this way. You can basically start with, this is what I have. All right, that's the first one. And then second, this is how it can help you. All right, so he basically flipped the idea of basically stating this is what I have and this is how it can help you. All right, and finally, the third one, so 3 paragraphs. this is how you can get it. That's it. Simple, right? So, for example, if he wants, if it's a sales page, then he'll have a link and says, well, if you want to get this, click on this link and it will lead you to the sales page, right? Or if it's a webinar, click here to sign up for the webinar, for example. Generally, this is what you call your CTA button, right? You always end with the CTA button. So to recap, Franken's method, okay, let's give credit when credit is due. Okay, this is something that he does among many other ways of writing his email. So this is what I have. This is how it can help you, and this is where you can get it. 3 paragraphs, very straightforward, nothing fancy, get straight to the point, and that's what your readers want. I mean, if you write a long 300 to 400 or maybe 1,000 word so-called emails, people may not read, right? So you can then use a simple, especially if you're starting off, you can actually use something like this. So finally, if you are more advanced, all right, and you want to be fancy about it, you can then try this method. It's called story, point, and offer. Right now, how does it pan out? So obviously, I will start off with the story. For example, like today, I had lunch with a classmate of mine. So let's say if I'm going to write this story, right? Today, I had lunch with an ex-classmate of mine, since high school, and she came back to visit the country because she migrated, and we had a long chat about life and all those things. And then the question came, what do you do now, right? She asked. So I can say, well, I basically help businesses with their email marketing, right? So then she says, oh, okay, now I've got a question for you. I've been receiving emails into my inbox, and I've been trying to get rid of all these emails because they're not relevant to me, and I'm trying to delete them and they still come in. I try to unsubscribe. I couldn't find the unsubscribe button. What can I do? Right? So then they jump into, I spend the next 25 or 20 minutes or so explaining to her basically how she can, what email marketers by right should be doing, and then how she can do it. Basically, like, for example, if you're using Gmail, you don't open the emails for the next 30 days. Gmail will do a prompt and says, you have not been opening this email. Would you like to unsubscribe? Okay, that Gmail does that for you, right? Alternatively, you look for the unsubscribe button and then unsubscribe it, right? So assuming even and let's say certain unethical email marketers, what they do is they hide the unsubscribe button. They either basically blend into the background and you can't see it, but it's there, right? Just to fool the ESPs, for example, right? Or sometimes they put you through you have to go through hoops. When you unsubscribe, they ask you question one, then goes to the next page, you never ending. Okay. So one way to do it is, like, for example, my practice is the moment you click on the unsubscribe button, that's it, off you go. All right. I do not want to put you through hell just to get off my, away from my newsletter. So that 20 minutes, that's the story. Okay. So you can embellish it. You can basically add her name, for example, so that it's more relatable. Okay. So it's Karen, as you can mention, Karen been my classmate for many years and all those things. And so that there's a human element to it. So that's a story. So what's the point? Then the point is, now, if you have similar problems like Karen does with regards to email, I happen to have go on live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. where I answer all these questions, and you can always get your questions answered with regards to email marketing, for example. So that's the point, right? And you don't have to start searching for, you get a live person to answer your questions rather than spending your time searching on Google, for example, for an answer. Right? And even then, you are not sure, or you may not understand the answers that's given. Okay, so that's the point. And finally, there's an offer. So if you like, I'm going live, here's a link, or for example, or these are the platforms that I have. I'm on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and you can join me live at 8 p.m. or if there's a CTA button, sign up to be notified, for example, whenever I go live, right? So that's the story point offer method. Okay, so this is for the more advanced email marketers or email writers. And if you're very good in storytelling, you can always do that. The idea is have a story to build up the kind of a context. The point is basically segue to the offer that you have, right? And the point is basically what you have learned, and then segue to the offer, right? So it becomes very subtle, right? So generally, these are the three methods that you can try to use. So just do a quick recap. First method, basically you start with the lead, which is basically the benefits, pain, or problems, because people associate with that, right? The first thing they want to know is what's in it for me in this email. So if you mention the pain or problems that they face, they say, okay, fine, I want to know more, right? So that's one way. And then you follow by the second paragraph, which is basically how you can solve it, right? Which is basically your offer. And then the CTA, the third paragraph is your CTA. Where can you get it? Okay. So start with a lead, which is either benefits, pain, or problems, how you can describe how you can solve the problems, and then what do you need them to do next. The second option is to use Franken's method, which is basically this is what I have, this is how it can help you, and this is where you can get it. Okay, so that's the second method, which is basically using Franken's 3 steps, right? Also 3 paragraphs, very simple. And finally, if for your advanced user, then you can try the story point offer. Start with a story, right? It could be a random story, it could be a day in your life, it could be anything, but it is also allows you to basically mention the point of this story, right? Basically the metaphor, the idea that you have gained or the lesson that you have learned, for example, and then segue into your offer. So you basically have story, point, and offer, right? So 3 methods, Matt, for you that you can use to basically write your email simply. I mean, it's as simple as I can think of if you want to start or you're getting started on email marketing. All right, cool. Hi, and thanks for watching. If you need my help to set up your email marketing engine for your business, just click on the link here and you see a list of services that will help you grow your leads and sales and also increase your profits through emails. I'm looking forward to working with you soon.